Taman wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the broken engine in front of him. He had been working at the Greystone trading station for 3 years now. It was not a fancy place. The station floated in empty space far from any major planets. Ships came here to refuel, repair, and trade. Taman fixed their engines and systems. He was good at his job, even if nobody really noticed. The trading station was always busy. Aliens from different worlds walked through the metal corridors. Some were tall, some were short. Some had scales, others had fur. Taman had learned to treat everyone the same. He fixed their ships and asked for payment. Simple work. Quiet work. That was how he liked it. Today felt different, though. Taman could not explain why. The air felt heavy. The usual noise of the station seemed quieter. He shook his head and went back to work. Maybe he was just tired. Around midday, a large cargo ship docked at Bay 7. Taman watched it from his workshop window. The ship was old and dirty. Black smoke came from its engines. He made a note. Someone would need to fix that ship soon. Bad engines meant danger in space. 3 hours later, station security called him. They needed him to check something in Bay 7. Taman grabbed his tools and walked over. The cargo bay doors were open. 2 security guards stood outside. They looked nervous. "What is the problem?" Taman asked. One guard pointed inside. "The ship captain wants us to check his cargo systems. But we heard strange sounds coming from inside, growling sounds. We thought you should look first." Taman frowned. He was a mechanic, not a security officer, but he nodded and went inside anyway. The cargo hold was dark and smelled terrible. Old blood and waste mixed together. Taman covered his nose and turned on his flashlight. The cargo hold was full of crates and containers. Most were sealed shut. Taman walked deeper inside, listening carefully. Then he heard it. A low growl came from the back corner. Not angry, more like sad, painful. He moved toward the sound. Behind a stack of crates, he found a large metal cage. Inside the cage was something that made his heart stop. A creature sat hunched in the corner. It was huge, maybe 7 feet tall even while sitting. Its body was covered in silver and black fur. The fur was matted with dried blood. The creature had the shape of a big cat but walked on 2 legs like a person. Its face was feline with sharp teeth and golden eyes that glowed in the darkness. But what made Taman angry was the metal muzzle locked around the creature's mouth. Heavy chains wrapped around its arms and legs. The cage was barely big enough for it to move. The creature looked at him with those golden eyes. There was intelligence there, understanding, and so much pain. Taman had seen many things in space. He had seen cruelty before, but this was different. This was slavery. He knew about the feline warrior race. They were called the Vorticon. They were famous across the galaxy. Strong fighters, honorable warriors, proud people. Seeing one trapped like an animal made his blood boil. "Hey," Taman said softly. "Can you understand me?" The creature's ears twitched. It nodded slowly. "I am going to get you out of here," Taman said. He did not think about it. He did not make a plan. He just knew it was the right thing to do. The creature's eyes widened. It shook its head and pointed to the cage lock. The message was clear. Too strong. Cannot break. Taman smiled. "I am a mechanic. Locks are just machines. And I am very good with machines." He pulled out his tools and examined the lock. It was electronic with a backup mechanical system. Smart design, but not perfect. Taman worked quickly. His fingers moved with practiced skill. 5 minutes later, the lock clicked open. But opening the cage was only the first step. The chains were still locked tight. And Taman could hear voices outside. The ship crew was coming back. "Stay quiet," he whispered. He moved to the cargo bay control panel and started typing. His fingers flew across the keyboard. He accessed the ship's main computer and found what he needed. The cargo bay had an emergency ventilation system. If he triggered it, it would create smoke and chaos. Perfect. He pressed the button. Immediately, white smoke filled the cargo bay. Alarms started ringing. The crew outside began shouting. Taman ran back to the cage. The creature was standing now, still chained but ready. "When I open these chains, you run," Taman said. "Take the left corridor. Follow the green lights. They lead to the lower maintenance tunnels. Hide there. I will come find you later." The creature stared at him. Why was this small human helping? Why would he risk so much for a stranger? For a slave? The questions were clear in those golden eyes. Taman worked on the chains. These locks were harder. Sweat dripped down his face. The smoke was getting thicker. The crew was trying to enter the cargo bay. Come on, Taemin muttered. His tools clicked and twisted. Finally, the first chain fell away. Then the second. Then the third. The creature was free. Go, now! Taemin shouted. The creature hesitated for one moment. Then it moved. Even injured and weak, it was incredibly fast. It ran toward the corridor exit, disappearing into the smoke like a ghost. Taemin took a deep breath. He had just freed a slave from a cargo ship. The slavers would be very angry. Station security would ask questions. He might lose his job. He might even end up in jail. But as he walked back through the smoke toward the exit, he felt something he had not felt in years. He felt like he had done something important. Something good. Something that mattered. The security guards grabbed him as soon as he stepped outside. What happened in there? They demanded. Ventilation system malfunction, Taemin said calmly. Old ship. Bad maintenance. It happens. The ship captain pushed through the crowd. He was a short alien with green skin and too many eyes. My cargo, he screamed. Where is my cargo? I only saw crates, Taemin said. Maybe check your inventory. The captain ran inside, cursing in 3 different languages. Taemin walked away slowly. His heart was pounding. His hands were shaking. But he kept walking, kept calm, kept moving. Somewhere in the maintenance tunnels below, a freed warrior was hiding. Taemin did not know what would happen next. He did not know if the creature would survive. He did not know if he would see it again. He only knew one thing. He had looked into those golden eyes and seen a person. Not a monster, not a weapon. A person who deserved freedom, and that was enough. Ralthra crouched in the darkness of the maintenance tunnel. Her body hurt. The chains had cut deep into her fur and skin. The muzzle had made it hard to breathe for so long, but she was free now. Free because of a small human with kind eyes. She did not understand it. Humans were weak creatures. Everyone in the galaxy knew this. They had no claws, no natural weapons. They were soft and breakable. Yet this human had risked everything to save her. A stranger, an alien, a slave. Ralthra closed her eyes and remembered her capture. She had been a war commander for the Vortican fleet. Her ship had been damaged in battle. The slavers found her floating in an escape pod. They captured her while she was unconscious. When she woke up, she was already in chains. The slavers knew what they had. A Vortican warrior was worth a fortune on the black market. They could sell her to fight in illegal arenas, or to rich criminals who wanted a dangerous pet, or to enemies of her people who wanted information. But now she was free. And according to the old ways of her people, she had a debt to pay. Ralthra spent 3 days hiding in the tunnels. She watched the human from the shadows. His name was Taemin. She learned this by listening to other people talk. He worked in a small workshop fixing machines. He lived alone in a tiny room. He had no family on the station, no close friends. He seemed very ordinary, but Ralthra saw more. She saw how he treated others with respect, how he worked with careful patience, how he helped an old alien carry heavy boxes without being asked, how he shared his lunch with a young worker who had no money. This human had a good heart, a pure heart. That was rare in the galaxy. On the 4th day, Ralthra made her decision. She would invoke the War Guardian bond. It was an ancient tradition among her people. When someone saved a Vortican warrior's life through true selflessness, that warrior became their eternal protector, their guardian, their shield against all enemies. The bond was sacred. It could never be broken. Once sworn, the warrior dedicated their entire life to protecting the one who saved them. It was the highest honor a Vortican could give, but there was a problem. Ralthra needed to contact the High Council first. The tradition required official recognition. Without it, the bond was not valid. She searched the station carefully. Finally, she found what she needed in the communications center. Late at night, when the station was quiet, she broke in. Her training made it easy. She activated the long-range transmitter and sent a direct signal to the Vortican homeworld. The response came within an hour. A hologram appeared in front of her. 5 figures materialized. They were the High Council, the leaders of all Vortican people. Elder Vorna stood in the center. She was ancient and wise, with silver fur and scars from 1,000 battles. Ralthra, Vorna said. Her voice was deep and powerful. We heard you were captured. We feared you were dead. I was captured, Elder, Ralthra said. She bowed her head with respect. But I am free now. A human freed me. He risked his life and asked for nothing in return. The council members looked at each other. Another elder named Kale spoke. He was younger than Vorna, but equally respected. A human freed you? Why would a human help a Vorticon? Because he is good, Ralthra said simply. Because he saw me suffering and could not walk away. Because he has honor in his heart, Vorna's eyes narrowed. Why do you contact us, Ralthra? What do you want? Ralthra straightened her back. Her voice was firm and clear. I wish to invoke the War Guardian bond. I wish to bind myself to this human. To protect him with my life. To serve him with my honor. This is my right as a freed warrior. Silence fell over the council. The elders stared at her in shock. Finally, Vorna spoke again. Do you understand what you ask? The War Guardian bond is forever. You can never break it. This human will be your responsibility until one of you dies. I understand, Elder. This human is not Vorticon, Kyle said. He is not a warrior. He has no training. No strength. Why would you bind yourself to someone so weak? Ralthra's eyes flashed with anger. He may lack physical strength, but he has something more important. He has compassion. He has courage. He saw a person where others saw only a slave. That takes more strength than any muscle. A third elder spoke. Her name was Myra. She was known for her wisdom. In 10,000 years of Vorticon history, we have never given the War Guardian bond to a human. Never. Are you certain about this? I am certain, Ralthra said. This human showed me that honor exists beyond our race. That goodness can be found anywhere. He deserves our protection. He deserves our respect. Vorna studied her carefully. The old elder had fought in hundreds of battles. She had seen empires rise and fall. She understood warriors better than anyone, and she saw the determination in Ralthra's eyes. Very well, Vorna said finally. We accept your request. The War Guardian bond is approved. From this moment, you are bound to this human. His enemies are your enemies. His safety is your sacred duty. Do you accept this responsibility? I accept, Ralthra said. She placed her clawed hand over her heart in the traditional salute. Then it is done, Vorna declared. But know this, Ralthra. The galaxy will hear of this. A human under Vorticon protection. This will change things. Are you prepared for that? I am prepared, Elder. The hologram faded away. Ralthra stood alone in the dark communications room. She had just changed her entire life. Changed it for a human she barely knew. But she felt no regret. Only certainty. Now she had to tell Taemin. That would be interesting. The human had no idea what was coming. He probably thought he would never see her again. He probably hoped to return to his quiet, simple life. But that life was over now. Taemin had freed a warrior, and that warrior would never leave his side. Ralthra smiled. Her sharp teeth gleamed in the darkness. She would protect this human. She would teach him about the galaxy. About honor. About strength. He had saved her from chains. Now she would save him from all the dangers that existed in space. But first she needed to deal with a problem. The slavers were looking for both of them. She had heard them asking questions around the station, offering rewards, making threats. They wanted revenge. Ralthra's smile grew wider. Let them come. Let them try. They had captured her once when she was unconscious and alone. But now she was awake. She was free. And she was very, very angry. The slavers would learn an important lesson. You should never cage a Vorticon warrior, because when that warrior escapes, they become your worst nightmare. And Ralthra was about to become a nightmare they would never forget. She left the communications room silently. Her golden eyes glowed in the darkness as she moved through the station. She had work to do. Enemies to watch. A human to protect. The War Guardian bond was now active. Her life had new purpose, new meaning. And it all started because one small human decided to do the right thing. Sometimes, Ralthra thought, the bravest warriors are not the ones with the biggest weapons. They are the ones with the kindest hearts. Taemin could not sleep. It had been 5 days since he freed the Vorticon warrior. 5 days of looking over his shoulder. 5 days of jumping at every sound. The station security had questioned him twice. The slavers were still searching. Rumors spread through the station like fire. He lay in his small bed staring at the ceiling. His room was tiny. Just a bed, a desk, and a small bathroom. But it was his. At least for now. He wondered if he would lose even this. The clock showed midnight. Taman sighed and closed his eyes. Maybe tomorrow would be better. Maybe the slavers would give up and leave. Maybe everything would return to normal. Then he heard his door unlock. Taman's eyes snapped open. He had locked that door. He always locked it. His heart started pounding. Slowly, he reached under his pillow for the small tool knife he kept there. It was not much of a weapon, but it was something. The door opened silently. 4 figures stepped inside. They moved like professionals, like hunters. Taman could see weapons in their hands, energy pistols that glowed faintly in the darkness. "There he is," one of them whispered. "The human who freed our cargo." Taman sat up quickly. His mind raced. He could try to run, but they blocked the only door. He could try to fight, but he was one small human against 4 armed mercenaries. He could scream for help, but these walls were thick. Nobody would hear him in time. "Please," Taman said. His voice was steady even though his hands shook. "I do not want trouble. Just leave. Forget about me." The lead mercenary laughed. He was a tall alien with red skin and 4 arms. "Forget about you? You cost us a fortune. That Fortican was worth millions. Now we have nothing, so we will take payment from your blood." The mercenaries raised their weapons. Taman prepared to die. He had no regrets. He had done the right thing. That had to count for something. Then something happened that Taman would remember for the rest of his life. A shadow dropped from the ceiling vent. It moved faster than anything Taman had ever seen. One moment the room was still. The next moment chaos exploded. Ralthra landed behind the mercenaries like thunder. Her clawed hand grabbed the first mercenary by the throat and threw him against the wall. The impact made a terrible sound. The mercenary did not get up. The second mercenary spun around and fired his weapon. The energy bolt flew toward Ralthra. She moved. Not like a person. Like liquid shadow. The bolt missed by inches. She was already moving, already attacking. Her claws ripped the weapon from the mercenary's hands. Then her fist connected with his face. The mercenary crumpled to the floor. The third and fourth mercenaries fired together. Multiple energy bolts filled the small room with light. But Ralthra was not where the bolts went. She rolled under the shots, came up beside one mercenary and kicked him so hard he flew backward through the door into the hallway. The last mercenary was the leader with red skin and 4 arms. He pulled out a long knife and charged at Ralthra. He was big. He was strong. He had military training. It did not matter. Ralthra caught 2 of his arms and twisted them. Bones snapped. The mercenary screamed. She did not stop. Her other hand struck his chest. He went down hard and stayed down. The entire fight lasted less than 30 seconds. Tae-min sat frozen on his bed. His mouth was open. His eyes were wide. He could not process what he had just seen. One Vortican warrior had destroyed 4 armed mercenaries without breaking a sweat. Ralthra turned to face him. Her golden eyes glowed in the darkness. Blood stained her claws, but none of it was hers. She stood tall and powerful. A living weapon, a predator at the top of the food chain. Then she did something Tae-min did not expect. She knelt down on one knee. She placed her clawed hand over her heart in a formal gesture. Her head bowed low. "Tae-min of Earth," she said. Her voice was deep and rough but clear. She spoke his language with a thick accent. "I am Ralthra of the Vortican. You freed me from chains. You risked your life for mine. By the ancient laws of my people, I invoke the War Guardian bond. From this moment until death takes one of us, I am your protector. Your enemies are my enemies. Your life is my sacred duty. I swear this oath with my honor and my blood." Tae-min stared at her. His brain was trying very hard to understand what was happening. "Like what?" Ralthra raised her head. "You saved me. Now I protect you. This is our way. This is our law. You have no choice in this matter. I am bound to you forever. Forever." Tae-min's voice cracked. I just did what was right. You do not owe me anything. You do not have to protect me." Ralthra's eyes narrowed. Her expression became stern. "Do you insult me, human?" "What? No. Among my people, honor is everything," Ralthra said firmly. "You showed me honor when nobody else would. You saw me as a person when others saw only a slave. That means something. That means everything. If you refuse my oath, you say my honor means nothing. You say my debt means nothing. Is that what you want?" Tae-min looked at her. Really looked at her. This warrior was serious. This was not a game. This was not a joke. She was offering him something sacred, something important to her people. I do not want to insult you, Taemin said quietly. I just do not understand. We barely know each other. How can you bind your whole life to mine? Ralthra stood up. She was massive. She towered over him. But when she spoke, her voice was gentle. I have been a warrior for 20 years. I have fought in 100 battles. I have seen the worst the galaxy has to offer. Cruelty, greed, hatred. But when you freed me, you showed me something I had almost forgotten. You showed me that good people still exist. That compassion still exists. You reminded me why I fight. Why I protect. I am honored to be your guardian, Taemin. Please accept my oath. Taemin felt tears in his eyes. He did not know why. Maybe because nobody had ever said anything like that to him before. Maybe because he had always felt small and unimportant. Maybe because this powerful warrior saw something in him that he did not see in himself. I accept, he whispered. I accept your oath, Ralthra smiled. It was a fierce smile, full of sharp teeth. But it was genuine. Good, then it is done. You are under Vortican protection now. That means something in the galaxy. That means you are safe. Station security arrived a few minutes later. They found 4 unconscious mercenaries and a very confused Taemin standing next to a 7-foot warrior. The security chief started asking questions. Ralthra answered all of them. These criminals broke into this human's home, she said calmly. They intended murder. I stopped them. This is my right as a war guardian. The Vortican High Council has approved my bond with this human. If you have problems with this, contact the council directly. The security chief's face went pale. Nobody wanted problems with the Vortican High Council. That was a war nobody could win. The mercenaries will be arrested, the security chief said quickly, and we will increase security around your quarters. Both of you, just try not to destroy anything else. After security left, Taemin sat on his bed. Ralthra stood by the door watching the hallway. Guarding. What happens now? Taemin asked. Now? Ralthra looked back at him. Now I teach you about the galaxy, about survival, about strength. And you continue your work, but you will never be alone again. Where you go, I go. This is the way of the War Guardian. Taemin thought about his quiet life, his simple routines, his peaceful days fixing machines. All of that was gone now. His life had changed completely, all because he decided to free a caged warrior. But as he looked at Ralthra standing guard at his door, he realized something. Maybe change was not so bad. Maybe having a friend was worth the chaos. Maybe being important to someone mattered more than being safe and alone. Okay, Taemin said. He smiled for the first time in days. Okay, let us see where this goes. Ralthra's ears perked up. Her tail swished once. You are brave, little human. Braver than you know. We will do great things together. I feel this in my bones. Neither of them knew how right she was. 3 weeks had passed since that night. Taemin's life was completely different now. Every morning he woke up to find Ralthra sleeping outside his door. She never slept inside his room. She said it was not proper for a guardian. She needed to watch the entrance, to be ready for any threat. At first, people on the station were afraid. A Vortican warrior walking through the corridors made everyone nervous. Children hid behind their parents. Shop owners watched her carefully. Security guards kept their hands near their weapons. But Ralthra never caused trouble. She followed Taemin to his workshop each morning. She sat in the corner and watched him work. She did not speak much. She just watched, protected, waited. Slowly, people started to relax. They realized Ralthra was not there to hurt anyone. She was just doing her job. Protecting her human. Taemin found the attention strange. People who never noticed him before now stopped to talk. They asked questions about Ralthra, about the War Guardian bond, about how it felt to have a legendary warrior as a friend. His co-worker Da-Un found the whole situation hilarious. She was a shuttle pilot with short black hair and a loud laugh. She had worked at the station longer than Taemin and feared nothing. You liberate one cat alien and suddenly you are famous, Da-Un said one day. She was leaning against his workshop door drinking coffee. That is very you, Taemin. Most people try to avoid trouble. You run straight into it. I did not try to be famous, Taemin said. He was elbow deep in an engine, trying to replace a broken fuel line. I just helped someone who needed help. And now you have a giant warrior following you everywhere. Da-Un grinned. How does it feel? Taemin glanced at Ralthra. She sat in her usual corner, eyes closed but ears alert. She looked like she was sleeping, but Taemin knew better. She heard everything. She was always ready. It feels strange, Taemin admitted, but also nice. I have never had someone care if I live or die before. Dayun's smile softened. You are a good person, Taemin. You deserve someone who cares. After Dayun left, Ralthra opened her eyes. Your friend is brave. She does not fear me. I respect that. Dayun is not afraid of anything, Taemin said. Last year, pirates tried to hijack her shuttle. She crashed it into their ship instead. Both ships were destroyed, but she survived. She walked away laughing. Ralthra's ears perked up. A warrior spirit, good. You need strong friends in this galaxy. Over the following days, Taemin and Ralthra started talking more. At first, their conversations were short, simple. But gradually, they opened up to each other. Taemin learned about Vortikan culture, about their wars and their honor codes, about how they valued strength but also loyalty, how they would die before breaking a promise, how they viewed the universe as a place of endless battle where only the strong survived. Ralthra learned about humans, about Earth and its blue oceans, about how humans were weak individually but strong together, about how they used tools and intelligence instead of claws and teeth, about how they believed in things like hope and kindness even when the universe was cruel. Your people are strange, Ralthra said one evening. They were in Taemin's quarters sharing a meal. Taemin had made simple noodles with vegetables. Ralthra ate carefully, unused to cooked food. You have no natural weapons. No armor, no strength. How did you survive? We adapted, Taemin said. We made weapons. We made tools. We worked together. One human is weak, but many humans together can do anything. Ralthra considered this. The Vortikan way is different. We believe each warrior should be strong alone. Asking for help is seen as weakness. That sounds lonely, Taemin said quietly. Ralthra was silent for a moment. It is very lonely. That is why the War Guardian bond is so important to us. It is the only time we allow ourselves to depend on another. To trust completely. You trust me? Taemin asked. But I am not a warrior. I cannot fight. I cannot protect you. Ralthra's golden eyes met his. You protect me in other ways. You remind me why I fight, what I fight for. That is more important than any weapon. Taemin felt his chest tighten. He had never thought of himself as important, as someone who mattered. But Ralthra saw something in him, valued something in him. It made him want to be better, to be worthy of that trust. One day, Taemin finally asked the question that had been bothering him. They were in his workshop. He was teaching Ralthra about engine repair. She was surprisingly interested in machines. Why me? Taemin asked. You could have chosen anyone. You could have gone back to your people, to your fleet, to your life. Why bind yourself to a random human mechanic? Ralthra did not answer immediately. She studied the engine component in her clawed hands, turned it over carefully. When she spoke, her voice was soft. I told you about the War Guardian bond, about the honor and duty, but that is not the only reason. She set down the component and looked at him. When the slavers captured me, I was ready to die. I had lost my ship, my crew, my purpose. I was alone in that cage, waiting for whatever fate they chose for me. I had given up hope. She paused. Her tail swished slowly behind her. Then you came, a small human who had no reason to care, who gained nothing from helping me, who risked everything for a stranger. And I realized something. I realized that if someone like you exists in this galaxy, then there is still something worth fighting for, worth protecting. She met his eyes. You saved more than my body, Taemin. You saved my spirit, my belief that good still exists. That is why I chose you, because you remind me what honor truly means. Taemin felt tears threatening again. He blinked them away. I am just a mechanic. I fix engines. I am nothing special. Ralthra made a sound that might have been a laugh. You are special to me. That is enough. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, just two unlikely friends sharing space. Then Ralthra's ears suddenly perked up. Her body tensed. She moved to the door faster than Taemin could blink. Someone is coming, she said. Many people. Moving fast, Taemin stood up. Friends or enemies? I do not know yet. Stay behind me. The workshop door burst open. But it was not enemies. It was Dayun, and she looked panicked. Taemin. Ralthra! You need to see this. She was out of breath, her face pale. There is a distress signal. A human colony. They are under attack. What? Taemin moved to the door. What colony? Where? New Haven, the farming colony on the edge of this sector. They sent out an emergency broadcast 10 minutes ago. Pirates, maybe slavers. The message was cut off before they could say more. Taman felt his blood run cold. New Haven was where his cousin lived, where her family had moved 3 years ago looking for a better life. He had not spoken to her in months, but she was family. His only family. How far away? He asked. 6 hours by fast ship, Doan said. But nobody is going. Station security says it is too dangerous. Outside their jurisdiction. They are just sending the distress signal to the nearest military outpost. That will take days, Taman said. Maybe weeks. By then everyone there might be dead, Doan finished. I know, I'm sorry, Taman. Taman stood frozen. His mind raced. There had to be something he could do. Some way to help. But he was just a mechanic. What could he possibly do against pirates? Then he felt a large hand on his shoulder. He looked up at Ralthra. Her golden eyes were fierce and determined. Your people need help, she said simply. Will you answer? I am not a fighter, Taman said. I do not know how to use weapons. I would just get in the way. You have other skills, Ralthra said. And you have me. I am your guardian. That means I fight for what you care about. If these people matter to you, they matter to me. You would do that? Taman asked. Risk your life for humans you do not even know? Ralthra smiled her fierce smile. I would do that for you. Because you would do it for them. That is who you are. That is why I chose you. Dayun stepped forward. I have a fast shuttle. Not much for weapons, but it is quick. If we are going to do something stupid, we should do it now. Taman looked between them, his friend and his guardian, both ready to fly into danger because he asked. Because people needed help. Because it was the right thing to do. He thought about his cousin, about the families living on that colony, about children who might die because nobody came to help them. He thought about the caged warrior he freed. About the choice he made that changed everything. Okay, Taman said. His voice was steady. His fear was still there, but so was his determination. Let us go save some people. The shuttle shook as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Through the front window, Taman could see New Haven Colony. It sat on a brown and green planet that looked peaceful from space. But his instruments told a different story. 3 large pirate ships were in orbit. Smoke rose from the colony's main settlement. Energy weapons fire lit up the surface like deadly fireworks. We are too late, Taman whispered. No, Ralthra said firmly. She stood behind his seat, one hand on his shoulder. Where there is smoke, there are survivors. Where there are survivors, there is hope. Dayun was piloting. Her hands flew across the controls with expert precision. Those pirate ships have not noticed us yet. We are too small. But once we get closer, they will definitely see us. What is the plan? Taman stared at the screens. His engineering mind was already working. The colony has shield generators, big ones. They were built to protect against asteroid impacts. If we could get those shields online, the colonists would be safe, at least temporarily. The shields need power, Dayun said. Lots of power. More than the colony probably has right now. The main power station is on the east side of the settlement, Taman said. He was pulling up the colony maps from the database. If the pirates attacked from the west like it looks, the power station might still be intact. I could get it running again. Restore power to the shields. Ralthra leaned over to look at the map. You would need to reach the power station. That means going through a battle zone. I know, Taman said. His hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. Can you get me there? Ralthra's lips pulled back, showing her sharp teeth. It was not a smile. It was something far more dangerous. Yes, I can get you there. Wait, Dayun said. She was looking at both of them like they were crazy. You two are really going down there? Into an active combat zone? Taman, you have never even held a weapon. I know, Taman said again, but people are dying down there. My cousin might be down there. I have to try. Dayun shook her head, but she was smiling. That same crazy smile she got when she was about to do something stupid and dangerous. Fine. I will get you close to the surface. But after that, you are on your own. I will stay in orbit and try to distract those pirate ships. Draw their fire, give you time. That is too dangerous, Taman protested. Everything about this is dangerous, Daon shot back. But we are doing it anyway, because we are idiots who care too much. Now shut up and let me fly. The shuttle dove toward the planet. Daon pushed the engines hard. They screamed through the atmosphere like a falling star. Behind them, the pirate ships finally noticed. Energy blasts started filling the space around them. They see us, Daon shouted. She threw the shuttle into a sharp turn. The blasts missed by meters. Hold on! The shuttle twisted and spun through the air. Daon was an incredible pilot. She made the small ship dance between the incoming fire like a leaf in a storm. But there were too many shots. Too many enemies. One blast clipped their shield. Alarm started screaming. Shields at 40%. Daon called out. We need to land now. There. Taemin pointed at a clearing near the power station. Put us down there. Daon brought the shuttle in fast and hard. They hit the ground with a bone-jarring impact. The landing gear groaned but held. Go, go, she shouted. I will lead them away. Taemin grabbed his tool bag. Ralthra was already at the exit door. She had found weapons somewhere on the shuttle, a large rifle in one hand, a blade in the other. She looked like death itself. Stay close to me, she ordered. Do not run ahead. Do not fall behind. If I tell you to hide, you hide. Understand? I understand, Taemin said. They ran out into chaos. The colony was burning. Buildings had collapsed. Bodies lay in the streets. Taemin tried not to look at them, tried not to think about the families who lived here, who died here. Gunfire erupted from their left. Ralthra moved instantly. She pushed Taemin behind a pile of rubble and returned fire. Her shots were precise, deadly. 3 pirates fell before they even knew what hit them. Move, Ralthra commanded. They ran. The power station was 3 blocks away. It looked intact, but pirates were everywhere. Taemin could hear screaming, could see colonists being dragged from their homes. His heart pounded, his lungs burned, but he kept running. A pirate stepped into their path. He was huge, easily 8 feet tall with thick armor and a massive gun. He raised the weapon toward Taemin. Ralthra was faster. She threw her blade. It spun through the air and buried itself in the pirate's throat. He went down. She did not even slow down, just grabbed a weapon from a fallen pirate as she passed and kept moving. How much further? She asked. 1 more block, Taemin gasped. They turned a corner and found themselves facing 5 pirates. These ones were ready. They had taken cover behind a burned-out vehicle. They opened fire immediately. Ralthra grabbed Taemin and dove behind a wall. Energy bolts burned the air where they had been standing. Too many, she growled. I can take them, but not without exposing you. I have an idea, Taemin said. He was looking at the burned vehicle, at the fuel tank, at the angle of the blast points. His engineering mind was calculating trajectories and explosive forces. What idea? Ralthra demanded. Can you hit that fuel tank from here? The one on the vehicle they are hiding behind? Ralthra looked. Her eyes narrowed. Understanding dawned. Yes, but you need to cover your ears. Do it. Ralthra aimed carefully. She fired once. The shot was perfect. It hit the fuel tank dead center. The explosion was massive. It threw the pirates into the air like toys. The shockwave knocked Taemin flat even behind cover. His ears rang. His vision swam. But when the smoke cleared, the pirates were not moving. Good thinking, Ralthra said. She pulled him to his feet. Your mind is a weapon too. They reached the power station. The door was locked, but Taemin's access codes still worked. Inside, the facility was dark and quiet. Emergency lights cast everything in red shadow. Guard the door, Taemin said. I need 5 minutes. You have 3, Ralthra replied. More pirates are coming. Taemin ran to the main control panel. The damage was not as bad as he feared. The systems were just shut down. Safety protocols activated when the attack started. He could bring everything back online, but he needed to work fast. His fingers flew across the controls. Rerouting power, bypassing damaged sections, reactivating the main reactor. Outside, he could hear gunfire. Ralthra was fighting, keeping the enemies away from him. 2 minutes, she shouted. Sweat dripped down Taimin's face. Come on, come on. The reactor hummed to life. Power flowed through the station. Now he just needed to redirect it to the shield generators. 1 minute. The shield control panel lit up. Taimin entered the activation sequence. The generators began spinning up. 30 seconds. 20. 10. Done, Taimin shouted. Shields are activating. A massive energy field suddenly appeared over the entire colony. It shimmered like a soap bubble, but 1,000 times stronger. The pirate ships in orbit immediately fired at it. Their blasts hit the shield and dissipated harmlessly. Ralthra appeared in the doorway. She was covered in blood, but none of it seemed to be hers. You did it, she said. She sounded impressed, almost proud. The shields will hold for a few days, Taimin said. He was exhausted but relieved. Enough time for military help to arrive. They made their way back through the colony. The fighting had stopped. The pirates were retreating, realizing they could not break through the shields. Colonists were emerging from hiding, looking around in amazement. Taimin found his cousin near the medical center. She was helping injured people. When she saw him, her eyes went wide. Taimin, what are you doing here? Saving your life, apparently, he said. Then he hugged her tight. She was alive. She was safe. That was all that mattered. Dayun's shuttle picked them up an hour later. She was battered but grinning. You crazy people actually did it. The whole galaxy is going to hear about this. A human mechanic and a Vortican warrior saving a colony. That is the stuff of legends. On the flight back to the station, Taimin sat quietly. He was thinking about everything that had happened, everything that had changed. A month ago, he was just a simple mechanic. Nobody important, nobody special. Now he had a war guardian. He had saved a colony. He had proven that even ordinary people could do extraordinary things when they chose to help others. Ralthra sat beside him. She was cleaning her weapons with careful attention. You fought well today, she said. Not with weapons, but with your mind, your courage, your heart. These are warrior qualities, too. I was terrified the whole time, Taimin admitted. Good, Ralthra said. Fear means you understand danger. Only fools feel no fear. But you did what needed doing anyway. That is true bravery. She paused, then continued. The Vorticon High Council will hear about this, about how you risked your life for your people. They will be impressed. Some may even apologize for doubting my choice. Your choice? To bind myself to you, Ralthra said. She looked at him with those golden eyes that had seen so much battle, so much death. But now they were warm, kind. I chose well, I think. You are not a warrior in the traditional sense, but you have something more valuable. You have the courage to care, to help, to do what is right even when it is dangerous. She placed her large hand on his shoulder. This is only the beginning, my friend. Together we will show the galaxy what honor truly means.